referred to as city, boroughs, villages, whatever. Those terms originally were usually based on size. You know, bigger places were called cities, smaller places were called boroughs or villages. But today, those terms have lost all meaning. They don't mean anything, so don't even worry about it. What does mean something is that, again, we've evolved where there's three basic types of and forms of municipal government. The mayor council, council manager, and commission. There's still some towns that have commission. I know there's still one or two in Essex County. Or committee, which is similar to commission, but not quite as much powers in the individual. The universal concepts of all of those plans is that the ultimate public policy making authority always rests with the elected officials. And within each of those forms, there's any number of different variations. Now, Montclair's form of government, where we sit today, just to start right off so you know, any municipality, any form of government has to be done by the voters. Okay? Can't be done by the elected official, has to be done by the voters. And there's a process that you go through to do that. In Montclair, the council manager form of government that Montclair has now was adopted by the voters of Montclair on November 6, 1979. So that's how we got to where we are now. Montclair, following Galveston, Montclair also had the commission form of government. And over the years, Montclair citizens made many attempts to try to change the form of government, get rid of the commission form of government, and adopt something else. And they finally did it. And if you ask why Montclair chose the council manager form, part of the process of adopting or changing a form of government is there has to be a charter study commission, which does an in-depth study of the type of community that you have and all of the possible options of what form of government the committee recommends. And Montclair went through that process. And I encourage all of you to read the report that committee produced. It's one of the best I've ever seen in terms of looking in depth and the professionalism of it and coming up with a recommendation to the citizens of Montclair. The features of the council manager plan are, again, it's supposed to be, for lack of a better term, the most professional, most business-like form of government, akin to the business world where you have a board of directors and you have a CEO. And the board of directors does not get involved in the day-to-day running of the corporation. They're not happy with the CEO, they can change CEOs. Just like Disney Corporation, General Motors, like any other corporation. That is the main feature of it. There's 42, New Jersey has 565 municipalities. Only 42 have council manager. And an additional thing you can adopt is to have your elections in May rather than November, on the premise of trying to avoid partisan elections, totally partisan elections. Montclair is one of only 14 municipalities in the state of New Jersey that did that. So Montclair has council manager, nonpartisan form of government. Now, even though that seems like a small number, in New Jersey, most of your large, if not all at this point in time, larger municipalities lean to and adopt Faulkner Act forms of government. In fact, you have 42 with council manager, 60 and change with mayor council. A little over 100 municipalities have either council manager or mayor council. That's 20% of the municipalities, but over almost 70% of the population of New Jersey is in Faulkner Act forms of government. And as I say at the end here, and this is a thing that I deal with often in consulting when towns hire me to help them decide this, there is no best form per se. A lot of people will often say, well, depends on the people you get. And of course that's true. You could have one form of government with good people in it, and another form of government where the people don't get along and they're not doing a good job. Well, that one's not going to work and this one is going to work. The real issue is which form of government gives you the best chance to have the government you want and to have good government. and that's something everybody has to decide for themselves. And then finally, as I stated before, this is just a copy of the cover of Montclair's charter study, again, which I recommend that if you're interested in municipal government, you study it, because it discusses all of the forms of government in depth, goes over the reasons why they recommended what they recommended, and you can see that it was 5 citizens, just like 5 people out of this group here, that comprised the committee. How does that work? I don't want to take up too much more time, but any town, anytime you want to change a form of government, as I said, it has to be done by the voters. And even to appoint the committee has to be done first by the voters. So first you have to vote, do we even want to consider changing our form of government? Then you have to vote to elect, these people are elected, not appointed, elect citizens of the town to perform the study. And then when they release their report, then you have to vote on whether you like what they're recommending. So that's basically it. I hope that gives you a little overview of what local government is and how Montclair got to where it is. And later on, when they're taking questions and submitting questions, I'm happy to answer any. Thank you very much.